All right. My name is Matthew Grote, and this is my Positivity Podcast. I plan today to have a suit and be dressed up and all that, but I'm in the middle of a move, as you can see by my wonderful white walls. My Positivity Podcast is to focus on wonderful people in my life that I know as friends, through businesses, that type of thing. My friend Randy Lisbon is one of the most inspiring people I know. He is very musically talented, and I think he has changed many lives through the years with everything he does. So with that being the case, we're going to interview him here tonight and go from there. And that is all right. Here's my friend I was talking about earlier. This is Randy Lisbon. He's looking wonderful today over there. The hat's definitely straight. So I just wanted to ask you a couple questions today. What is one of the things you do that you feel makes you a very positive person? I mean, when you go through your day, I mean, I guess, how positive are you? Like, how does that?
I'd say for the most part, like what I express, like verbally, is usually pretty positive. Like a lot of negative things I have usually stay in my head. I try to let them out. I try to, find try to be optimistic in any situation that happens. I always find the bright side, which usually at my job, it's like, well, it could be worse, which is always the case. I just believe that if you're constantly negative about anything that's going on, but not taking any steps to make a change, and you're always complaining, the words are meaningless. There's no action behind it. You're not backing up anything. You're not going out trying to correct any of the problems you complain about. So I feel like if I did that, there's a lot of things I don't like that go on in the world, but I've done not a whole lot to change them, so I don't really complain about it. Instead, I've always just kind of done my own thing, not really cared about what was popular or whatever anyone else was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of lost my train of thought.
No, that's
kind of rambling.
It's fine, man. That's fine. That's good. Well, I guess. Boy, let me think here. That your answer gives me a lot of questions to think about here. A lot of things to think about. So, okay, so you have. I'm not being a very good interviewer. Well, I guess what I wanted to ask you about is, your music and all the shows and everything you do. Like, you're a show promoter, you're a musician, you play in a lot of bands, and you seem to bring music in the places that there normally wouldn't be music. Do you let a lot of your positivity out in your music, or?
Usually the songs we write usually have some kind of a positive message, but I guess if anything, taking like any aggression or negative feelings I have and putting it out in a positive form, is going out, performing music. We play a heavier style of music, so in that it's a lot of energy, so just take any frustrations you've had throughout the week and just put it into that performance, or just take it out. I don't want to say in the pit, but yeah, when people are moshing, to me it's a great stress leave. I have a lot of fun doing it, and there's a lot of different arguments about the things we do, but for the most part, like here, I think it's decently positive. There's not a whole lot of negativity. We're very fortunate to have that. And just through playing the music, I try to say something positive between the songs, mostly in part because anything I want to say, like bad, usually anyone there who needs to hear it isn't there, so I'd be preaching to the choir, so I get the point. So I just keep things positive, try to keep people to move forward, show them there's more in life than just living and dying.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And music has always been a place for all of us who don't really fit in anywhere else. Like, not necessarily have any athletic talent or, popular in school or whatever. Most of us are well out of school, so that's irrelevant at this point. But even just in the grand scheme of things, that we really don't fit in a lot with society.
Right.
And we've always had our view that at the shows, anyone's welcome as long as people come in with a positive mindset. We're open to anyone, even people who aren't necessarily into the music, as long as you come in and have an open mind towards what we're doing and don't try to tell us how you think it should be running, or like, actually you're the perfect example of that, because like you're one of the few that don't, like, most people that come out the shows play an instrument for a while or in bands, and just that's their off night. They're coming out to hang out and watch other bands. So you're one of the few that don't really play an instrument but love the music and the environment and come out and hang out.
Well, thank you.
That I'm very grateful for. I wish we had more people that did that. It, at one point was like that, but not so much anymore.
Well, thank you, man.
But that helps keep the just like a positive vibe going through that, when you have people that come into it not knowing what it is and have an open mind towards everything that's going on. Like I said, in the genre we have, it's heavy. There's a lot of like pitting going on. There's other movements going on that people looking in from the outside on it think, what the heck are they doing? They're just fighting each other this whole time, which it's not exactly that. It's, I guess, if anything, it's violence without an actual fight is the way we like to keep it.
Yeah.
This probably doesn't make any sense to anyone who's never been to a show. Once again, losing my train of thought.
No, you're fine, man. I mean, we could probably edit in some clips of your shows and stuff. I mean, give people an idea of what I know what you're talking about, because I've been to the shows, and obviously.
Well, we're open to anyone to come out. We have like just our group of people, and I hope it doesn't feel cliquey to anyone when they come in. It's just like, these are the same guys that have been going to the same shows together for a long time. So like, we kind of bond, and if anyone new comes in and isn't bonding with us right away, we're not, exiling you or anything like that, or ignoring you. We're just like, we're just used to our thing going on, and we're happy you're there. And some people go all the way and will talk to someone new. I try to once in a while, and I feel like I'm very weird sometimes, so I try not to do that, because I don't want to risk scaring them out of coming back to shows.
I like that.
I have some other friends that are very charismatic. It's not so much me.
Well, that's making friends at a show, or making friends anywhere when you go to a strange place, is always, that's hard to do as the person performing and as the person just showing up.
Usually there's a good bit of common ground. Even though you have the same belief system, you're still there for the same reason, to see music. And a lot of that. Actually, I read an interesting article on that the other day. Some parent went to see their kid's band play, and they wrote this big article of what the church can learn from the show. It's just showing how it was accepting. Like, you have all walks of life at a show, all getting along. You have kids that are rich coming out. You have kids that have like nothing. People have life going crappy for them. People that are doing great in life, all in the same room, and everyone's getting along. If anyone needs any help with anything, people are there with open arms to do it. I've seen it in multiple places, even places where people claim it's like a very violent scene and everything up there is bad. And I've gone to shows up there where they've had benefits for someone who had like a disease and had a lot of medical bills. So they would throw a show, get a bunch of money together, and pitch it towards that person.
That's awesome.
I've seen stuff like that multiple times. They've done it for like animal shelters, for people. We've done one around here several years back. We did a Christmas show going towards a friend I grew up with that was going through a hard time financially. We weren't able to get them an insane amount of money, but we got any little bit help at that point, and they were grateful for it.
I like that. So that's a really, obviously the shows are a really positive place, because they let you let out like that negative or violent energy without hurting each other with the music. You accept, like you said, you accept everyone from all walks of life, and you have benefit shows to raise money for people that need money and help them out. And I think you've done stuff with the homeless or something before, or soup kitchen. I know you've done.
The place where we throw shows, there's a lot of stuff like that.
Is that Crucified?
Yeah.
Okay.
they have mission teams, and now they're going around to like a lot of project neighborhoods and just like ministering to people, just doing neighborhood cleanups. It's awesome to see that because most people just give up on this area.
Mm-hmm.
They say there's no jobs here in Johnstown. There's a lot of Section 8. There's like the majority of people are probably living at the poverty level, even working full-time jobs.
Right.
And I mean, throughout history, there's always been periods in time when society wasn't doing so well, but for here, it's been like that for a very long time.
I would say at least the last 30 years or so,
Yeah,
huh?
if not longer than that, or at least probably within the last 30 years, more so with the mills shutting down.
Right.
So not a lot of jobs, there's jobs, but not everyone's idea of what a good job is. But, you know, grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been pretty happy living here. A lot of people say, I've heard two sides of the story. People that come in, like touring bands that come through and play shows, they very love playing here because of how welcoming it is, even if there's only a handful of people at the show. Everyone there is genuinely excited to see that band, goes up and talks to them, gets some merch from them. We give them food, a place to stay. So they're just very grateful to have that hospitality. And that's been the reputation we've had for a while, is people know about the hospitality we have here. But anyone on the outside of it who just thinks it's a crappy area and there's no point in trying to revive it or clean it up or do anything. And a lot of us would like to beg to differ, and I wish more people would get that same mindset, then we'd see change happen faster.
Right, you'd see change from like the inside, from the people that are here.
Like like I mentioned before, I don't like people complaining about stuff being bad and like dumpy around here and they don't do anything about it.
Right.
Which, like I'll complain about that, but at the same time I go clean up stuff, like do trash pickups. Areas where I see like we have a tunnel that goes underneath the tracks, it's a shortcut from our neighborhood down to downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of kids go through there. A lot of people walk their dogs through there. There was lights in it, there isn't anymore. Crucified puts them in. Some people stole all the wiring, so now they're gone again. But people go in there and smash bottles and everything. And I thought, well, kids are riding their bikes through here, getting flat tires. People are trying to walk through with their pets. They won't get their foot cut. So no one else is gonna do it. So I just went down, did some cleanup down there, and it's past due. I need to go down again to do it.
I like that, man.
Yeah, that was one thing. Like a lot of people in the town are actually very humble because of the poverty we have. No one turns their nose up in the air, and most people are pretty decently friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we have a reputation for some areas being pretty bad.
Right.
Which, in the grand scheme of things, comparing it to actual ghettos and places like that, this isn't bad at all.
Right.
If one bad thing happens, people automatically label something as a bad area, or they say it's a bad area because of the, there's like a certain number of people of a certain nationality there.
Right,
it's
right.
Crap. I don't like that at all. Another thing we try to do is, we're welcome to all walks of life. Doesn't matter what the color of your skin and where you come from. We're always accepting of people, and it'd be nice. The outside world gives us a bad rap constantly, but they're not seeing the actual good things that happen. They're only hearing the negative that gets exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Same with anything else in the world. You're only going to hear the negative.
Right. Yeah, because the negative.
Then people dwell on it. They sit there and complain, and don't actually do anything about it.
And then they kind of get stuck there. Oh yeah, absolutely.
They get stuck there, and they make themselves miserable, and they bring everyone else down with them. That was a long answer. Should we go to the next question?
No, that was fine, man. That was awesome. That was beautiful. Thank you, Randy. That was.
Another positive person, you should get Stefan. He'll have much better answers than me. That guy's a lot more researched and knowledgeable and better at talking than me.
No, man, you're fine. I would love that.
Also, a very inspirational person for me. Even though he's younger than me, he was very inspirational for me.
I like that. So would you say So how did Stefan inspire you? Because I'll get Stefan on here too. So
because he's always been very passionate about whatever he's into at the time. Like when I met him, he's in the music, got me to go out to shows more often. We formed some bands together, and like he introduced me to straight edge. Like I didn't do any drugs or anything at the time. I was just drug free. I didn't want to label myself. He introduced it to me, and for the longest time I said, nah, I want to be part of it. I don't need a label to be sober all the time. And eventually when I turned 21, I finally decided to claim edge.
Nice.
And for those of you who don't know what straight edge is, it's pretty much a declaration of how do I want to say this? It's very simple. I'm trying to sound smart when I say this, which is very hard to do when you're explaining an underground subculture. There's no way to do it without sounding dumb. Like if I try to explain how moshing works to someone, you sound like an idiot. But straight edge is essentially, there's no drugs, no alcohol, same as drugs. No premarital sex.
Right.
Which that all came from a band called Minor Threat, who wrote a song called Straight Edge, which essentially was just about their vocalist not needing drugs and sex and anything else in his life to deal with his problems.
Right.
And that happened at the same time, from my understanding from watching interviews of Ian MacKaye from Minor Threat. He wrote that song at the same time there was a movement going on from rock and roll at that time. It was known for a lot of heavy drug use, and in the underground there was kind of a rebellion against that. And all throughout the country, I guess the people were trying to have this thing where it was drug free, and they were trying to come up with a name for it. And I guess there's all these ridiculous names people had. And when the song Straight Edge came out, it just clicked and spread like wildfire.
That's awesome.
And I know that guy. He's actually a very good spokesperson. He does a lot of interviews. And I feel bad for him because every time he has has questions at the end, people always ask him about that. So I gotta be able to explain that I don't know how many times. And you can tell he's just kind of sick of explaining it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, Stefan inspired me to stay away from all that stuff, even though I was already in the mindset where I wanted nothing to do with it.
So he kind of gave you the he gave you the title, and then you later embraced the title. Like he introduced you to Straight Edge, and then you're like, I can dig this. Like I can.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was at the time until I met him. I heard of it, but didn't know what it was. I was at a show and got just like a little advertisement packet for some, I forget what record label it was, probably Victory or something. It was a Life Once Lost was on one side. The other side it was Black My Heart. I just remember I read it and it said new Boston Straight Edge Hardcore, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but that sounds scary. Actually, I really like that band though. I found a few years later when I actually listened to Black My Heart, they're awesome.
That is awesome. Well, good. I mean, that's man. I know the viewers can't see my list of questions, but I have a list of questions over here I wanted to talk to you about, and you just went down through the bullet points there on a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk to you about.
You can ask again if you want to reiterate some stuff.
Well, I mean, man, boy, this is, man, I didn't think I'd be the one here stumped on, questions today.
Just me giving long-winded answers, mindlessly rambling on, and it probably doesn't make any sense.
No, man, you're good, Randy. I'm so happy you're here, man. Hopefully we're gonna reach a good bit of people with this, and I guess the only question I really have for you is, what is? Yeah, I have two questions for you, and then I'll ask you about your guitar here. But if you had one piece of advice to give to anyone that's trying to change the world for the better, what would you do? What is that one piece of advice you think that?
I would say keep pressing on. You'll always, no matter how many nice things you do, there'll always be some kind of a backlash for stuff, whether it's through it not being appreciated or not getting a thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Doing nice things isn't about that. You do right things because it's the right thing, not so you get a compliment or can help you out down the road. And it can be frustrating when you put a lot of work into something. I have a lot of examples I can use, but I drone on a lot. Anytime people were people. you can do everything for someone, and the slightest thing where you mess up, they just, it's like the end of the world.
Right, I gotcha.
But I'd say just always press on. No matter how many good things you do, there'll always be, something not good will come along. You just gotta work through it. There'll always be someone to complain, and always someone to put you down.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta not let them get to you.
Right, like you said, just gotta keep on.
It's hard. It's easier said than done. For me, I'm not the greatest at pressing on. I dwell on things a lot. Like anytime someone does something that kind of angers me, I dwell on it for a while, which is a very unhealthy habit.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to break.
I think people in general do that. I mean, not just you. I mean, I mean, no one likes to be wrong. No one likes to be used and abused by other people. And
especially over here, where pretty much all of us are right, and we're entitled to our own opinion, and everyone else is wrong or hates us because they don't have the right. They have a different opinion, which isn't the case.
Right.
You can be friends with someone and disagree on things. It'll happen. As long as there's two people on this earth, there'll always be disagreements.
That is absolutely true. And like you said too, you can be friends with people and disagree on things, and that's
it happens.
Yeah.
You gotta work through it. I'm not married, or nor am I in a relationship, but I know that has some huge trials with it, of just being with the same person all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have arguments. You're going to have, whatever altercations happen, is just working through it, not losing your temper.
Right.
Which can be hard to do depending on the circumstance.
Absolutely. Well, that's wonder. Oh, I'm sorry.
As I say, there's a time for fighting, and there's a time where, it's not the answer.
Right.
Usually the last resort when you need to fight for something.
Well, that is a wonderful answer to my question. I mean, that's an awesome answer. And just to wrap this up a little bit here, I mean, you've been great. I'm so happy you're here on my first ever show.
Oh, happy to be here.
I guess in a more lighthearted note, I thought of this yesterday to make this different. Every single person I want on this podcast, I want them to bring a unique object with them. And if you want to hold that up, Randy has brought me a guitar here.
Yes, there's another item I would have brought, but it's not in my possession yet. That would actually be my grandpa's fork. If you can look at my grandma's cupboard drawer, all the forks are the same except one. It's a long fork, has a nice plastic black handle on it. I just found out the other day it's like 80 years old. Like, that belonged to his dad at some point, and I guess was given to him.
So
I just remember when I was a little kid, I was like, oh, I'm going to use Grandpa's fork one day, and they're like, no, you gotta give that to Grandpa. And everyone views their grandpa as a great guy.
Absolutely.
I obviously do, for multiple reasons. So, like, I even told them straight out that, like, I wouldn't care if they gave everyone else, like, X amount of money, gave them, like, possessions from their house, like the house itself, and all I got was a fork, I'd be 100% happy with that.
I like that.
They've meant so much to me through my life, and I don't know if he knows it or not, but I've looked up to him so much just through an example of being a hard worker. Like, my grandpa was always out doing stuff, even before I was even born. When he'd be out of work, he'd go around and do stuff. He just wouldn't sit on his ass and collect money from the government.
Right.
He'd go out, paint houses, do whatever he could to earn a dollar, and that's probably been one of the greatest examples. That and other people in my family just working hard for everything they wanted, for me to do the same, not to expect anything to be handed to me, but and for me that fork embodies all that.
Wow.
And would mean, like, the day I'll actually get to use that fork and hold it in my hand, like, every time I grab that, I'll remember him and everything he's done. And I actually remember, for the most part, both my grandparents do that. But
I like that.
It's not in my possession yet, because thankfully he's still alive. Hope it stays that way for a while. He's 90, so a living proof that butter and garlic is healthy.
Well, thank you for sharing that, man.
I brought this. And I guess what makes this special to me is, well, one, I built it myself. I did.
Oh, you built this guitar?
Yes, I shaped everything by hand except the fretboard. I ordered this, it was pre-slotted. I put the frets in and leveled them myself and filed them down. The only reason I didn't do this myself is because the measurements have to be so precise for this, and the cutting has to be so precise that if you mess it up just a little bit, you're gonna know when you're playing the guitars, the notes will be off.
Wow.
It's been a while since I've researched stuff on guitars. Like at the time when I built this was like a year and a half worth of research I did of trying. At the time I was in a band touring, so anytime we'd stop at a music shop, I'd take guitars off the wall, play it, and like talk to the guy who was there about different stuff on the guitar. And I'd always liked the Gibson double cutaways, but those are a vintage guitar and extremely expensive. So 2 factors of why I built this. One was for how much I abuse a guitar. A vintage guitar does not deserve to be put through that. So that's one thing, and 2, I'd never be able to afford one. Even the cheapest one I saw, like of the year that these were made, this obviously isn't old. I think probably like $2,000 was like some of the cheaper ones.
Wow, that's really expensive.
So I was like, some people can do that. I can't justify spending more than like a few $100 on guitars. Usually, like I'll get something cheap and get better hardware and pickups for it. But anyway, back to this.
I like that, man.
Yeah, I built it myself. I built it to take a beating. I took the model I liked and somehow just found the schematics online and printed them out. They were actually printed out full size. So I had to take all the pieces of paper and tape them together and with some measuring tape, make sure I got it right. And another thing is my stepdad was very good at carpentry, so he helped me out a good bit through this.
Oh, okay.
That's another nice thing. I actually got to bond with him more through that. You know, I didn't have a dad in most of my life growing up, so he was kind of that figure that was there. And you know, I like more just playing original music, and I like more newer stuff than Metallica. So there's kind of that agreements and disagreements in the same there, but we both like music. And neither of us were very much into sports. Like when our family gets together, like everyone else was very athletic and always talking about sports. So me and him usually like wander in our own little corner and we kind of talk about music, guitars and stuff.
I like that.
So yeah, he helped me out a good bit with this. I just took things I liked about the model and things I didn't like about it and changed it. Like for one, the body join, I actually made it more solid. Because in their models, they actually had to move the pickup down because the neck joint in the body was such a thin amount of wood there for it to grasp. Even if you'd move the guitar slightly, it almost sounded like you're using a whammy bar. Just the wood flexing. Because there's a lot of tension from as soon as you tune your guitar, put the strings on and tune it. There's a lot of tension there. This is made from some hunk of walnut that was laying in the shop for I don't know how long.
Wow, it's a beautiful guitar.
Yeah, I made you can tell the headstock is definitely like shaped like a Gibson.
Right.
So I wanted to keep it kind of traditional. Added the neck volute to kind of give more stability there, because there was kind of a weak point in their guitars from the angle of the headstock, and also I think they also had a notch cut in it for the nut to be put in place. So that created another weak spot, plus the truss rod access, which is normally there. There's not a whole lot of wood there, and if this thing bumps something the wrong way,
Right.
I've had some guitars do that. So I built this thing to take a beating. The truss rod axis is actually down here. So this is all nice bulky wood up here.
Wow.
Nice and sturdy. Like I said, the neck joint is actually right here instead of at the body. I just shaped it to look like a traditional join. And the neck actually goes all the way down to about this part of the bridge pickup. So anyone I've had play the guitar has told me it's a very stable feeling guitar. There is mistakes in it, which no one would really know until I pointed them out. But you know, that's just part of it. It's my first guitar I ever built. And actually for the first tour I was going to take it on, our drummer ended up quitting. So I only got to play the guitar for like first few days of the tour, and I had to learn the songs and drums on the way to the show. So I was a drummer before a guitarist. So I learned the songs and drums and had to play drums the rest of the tour. But eventually I did get to play this on some tours, and one of my go-tos for playing shows now. I finally put lighter strings on it and took it out at low tuning. So I use it now. It's kind of a good bit of weight to it, but
oh yeah, you can definitely fend
nice,
people off.
You know, 'cause I built it around the way I like the guitars to feel and play, so it is exactly that. So that's why this is kind of special to me.
I like that. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us here today, and I absolutely love the guitar. It's beautiful, and
thank you.
You've been, man, you've been phenomenal. Thank you so much for coming on here today.
Long answers. I'm not good at giving short answers.
Dude, you're fine, man. This is great. I can't wait to put this up, and I mean, this is Randy Lisbon, everyone. I absolutely love this kid. I mean, we're not really kids anymore, but you know what I mean. So is there anything else you want to add before we get going here, or?
I'm not too sure. Nothing I can think of that's short. I guess just enjoy life. We all know how long we're here for, so just make the best of it.
Okay.
For me, I like nice weather. I can have a crappy day at work, but as soon as I go outside, I pretty much just hug the humidity. I'm glad it's there. A lot of people beg to differ. And, I should consider moving somewhere where it's nice all the time, because that very much dictates my mood. If it's nice outside, I'm pretty happy, generally, no matter what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, winter just you just kind of get sick of it. You just want the cold to be done, and it just makes you miserable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely prefer the warmer weather.
Absolutely. Yeah, just embrace life, embrace those around you. I've lost multiple friends up to this point, and then 30 years of living and probably less years of having friends. You never know when you'll lose someone, so that's why it frustrates me when people will ignore you or don't want to hang out or anything. I know people have stuff going on, but I've always viewed that I want to always have people in my life, so I try to enjoy time with them the best I can, and I enjoy their company. So,
I like that.
Yes.
All right, well, that sounds good. This is Randy Lisbon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming on here, and we'll get this posted soon, and thank you guys so much for watching.